A tear slipped down across the bridge of my nose, and then another one followed. I was lying on a used Pottery Barn couch, day 3, still in the same position. My gut was wrenched with pain, my joints swollen, my hips burning, and I couldn't move. Loss and disappointment had hollowed me out, and I didn't want to keep going. I can't live like this. I just can't. But somehow from that pit, I made a decision. A whisper inside said, seek. Seek what? I didn't know. Answers, healing, meaning. But I knew I couldn't stay on that couch. So I decided whatever it takes, wherever I have to go, whatever I have to learn, I'm doing it. I come from 3 generations of doctors. My grandfather was a chiropractor, and my dad, after Vietnam, went to Palmer College of Chiropractic. And by the time I was 13, I knew I was meant to be a doctor. My father would take me to his clinic, and people would arrive bent in pain, and they would leave standing tall. To me, it seemed amazing. I believed in protocols, orthopedic tests, and in the science of the body. But in college, I lost all of that. One traumatic night shattered something deep inside of me, and after that, I began to self-destruct. What I ate, what I drank, and what I consumed broke me down even further. And by 24, I was overweight, I was exhausted, and diagnosed with chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, autoimmune disease, and depression. Doctors had terms for it, but what mattered most is I could barely move, barely stand, barely hope. I was the daughter and the granddaughter of doctors, yet I couldn't find my own way back to health. That was my breaking point. People often mistake seeking for weakness. They think it's uncertainty or naivete. But seeking takes courage. It takes strength, the courage to admit you don't have all the answers, to ask for help, to keep searching even when you're afraid of what you might find. Strength doesn't knock politely at your door. It begins the moment you dare to seek. The seeker isn't flaky or foolish. The seeker is the one who says, there has to be more than this. I can't live like this. And then they choose to go find out what more means to them. For some, seeking means working with doctors or therapists. For others, it means traveling far, or simply beginning right where they are. My journey is just one version, one way of learning through experience. But what mattered most is the act of seeking itself. That search carried me all across the world. In Ecuador and Peru, I sat with people sharing traditional approaches to healing around firelight. I didn't come to replace science with ceremony. I came to listen and to understand how human beings everywhere search for meaning. In Tibet, I watched monks pour colored sand into intricate mandalas and then sweep them away in seconds, teaching me that growth often begins when we release what we once clung to. In the Dakotas, atop Bear Butte, I listened to the prayers offered for others. At the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, I tucked a handwritten prayer into the ancient stones. In India, I sat in silent meditation for hours, and I realized silence doesn't always soothe. It can reflect everything we've tried so hard to avoid. I climbed Tiger's Nest in Bhutan, climbed Machu Picchu, and visited monasteries in Spain. And everywhere I went, I listened and I learned. Along the way, I met scientists and researchers, practitioners, some traditional and others unconventional. But what connected them all was a shared curiosity about how human beings adapt, recover, and grow. Across cultures and disciplines, people are asking the same question: how do we transform our lives when everything falls apart? From those experiences, 3 words came to define my journey: faith, fervor, and favor. Faith is raw and it's defiant. It's the belief that says, I don't have the answer, but I'll keep going. Faith doesn't promise certainty. It gives you the strength to take one more step when nothing is clear. Fervor is courage plus persistence. It's what shows up at 4 a.m. when your mind tells you to quit. It whispers, try one more thing, read one more page, take one more small action. It's stubborn hope in motion. And then there's favor, not magic, not luck, not a charm on your wrist. For me, favor meant believing that I was worthy of feeling better, of peace, and of possibility. Favor keeps your heart open long enough for you to notice the help, the science, and the community that are already around you. Together, these three, faith, fervor, and favor, became the foundation of my own transformation. The courage to seek became my compass. So here's something important. If you're struggling with physical or mental health, seek professional help. Do what's best for your body and your mind. Talk to your doctor, your therapist, or trusted experts in your life. Don't walk that path alone. Seeking includes knowing when to reach for professionals to support you. I had dozens of professionals that were instrumental to my journey. Over the past 2 decades, I've had the privilege of sharing these ideas both nationally and internationally with people exploring their own journeys towards vitality and purpose. And what I've learned is change rarely comes to those who wait. It comes to those who seek, who stay curious, and remain open. So if you're hurting, if you're lying on your own metaphorical couch, frozen by fear or fatigue, this is what I want you to remember. You're not done. You're not broken. You are becoming. Faith, fervor, and favor. The courage to seek was how I began again. Growth isn't about going back to who you were. It's about rising into who you are meant to become. Because when life bruises your body or your soul, you still have the capacity to rise, to seek, and to find your own version of wholeness. Thank you.